Hi, friends. Hello. This is attorney Marina Shepelsky coming to you live every Wednesday with immigration news. And it's always very busy in the world of immigration news. But before I get into my usual spiel, I want to say Happy International Women's Day to everyone who celebrates. My ladies, who celebrate Women's Day, and anybody who identifies as a lady, go for it. Celebrate. Today is your day. So I want to wish all the ladies watching me a very happy March 8th. May you be healthy. May you be inspired. May you be full of energy to be a creator, somebody who makes things happen around yourself, as I see every one of the women that I love do. Be a mom, be a friend, be a sister, be a daughter, be a coworker, be a wife, be anything you want to be. Be a businesswoman, be a queen. You are a queen of your world. Remember, whatever you decide, you can create for yourself. And I'm just going to say hello to some people watching. Mrs. Imran says, good morning, good morning, good morning. Just going to give a little time for people to join, because I didn't set up this live ahead of time. I'm sorry, on YouTube, but on Instagram, people did get advance notice. So I'm sorry I dropped the ball. It's been a busy week. Oh, what are the biggest news in immigration this week? Well, first of all, it's March, it's spring. So I'm in a good mood. I'm happy. I'm hoping for some good things to happen. But unfortunately, immigration news is disappointing me, because what I see is that with the coming on March 11th of the end of Title 42, so Title 42 and the pandemic is officially ending on the federal level as of March 11, 2023, which is in 3 days, guys. President Biden's administration got busy creating restrictions for immigrants at the border. Now, as somebody who lives in the United States and sees how this is affecting us, I don't have anything good to say about the crisis at the border. And we are experiencing a crisis at the US border. There's so many people trying to get in legally and illegally, and how the US government is processing this is not good. They weren't prepared for it. There's now shelters and shelters of immigrants everywhere. New York City is getting a lot. Texas definitely got a lot. California and all these other places. And we were not prepared to deal with them. They weren't prepared to have legal procedures in place. So what the Biden administration, under a lot of pressure, is doing is, they're creating restrictions for coming in. The first thing they declared is they want to bring back the third-party transit ban, meaning anybody who traveled to the U.S. border through other countries and did not ask for asylum, or cannot show why they didn't file for asylum in that other third country, will be turned away at the border. So that's been happening since last week. This week, they announced that they also are thinking about now bringing back the Trump rule of detaining families at the border and getting them expedited hearings and deporting them as one family just as quickly as letting them come in. Meaning that before, for the last couple of years, if there was a family with children coming to the border, they would process them and release them into the United States to await a court date. But Biden administration is saying, look, we are trying to deal with this crisis with the lifting of Title 42, where we are going to plan on detaining or putting the families in jail. So, I don't know what to tell you. It's happening. I'm not sure where it's going, but we'll see what happens. I'm sure people are going to start suing them. And that's it. Okay, what else is new? Okay, what else is new? Okay, here, let's go over more immigration news. The Biden administration announced on Monday that they're going to create a special department, a task force, to crack down and stop on the exploitation of the children workers in the US, following a surge in the an increase in the illegal employment of immigrant kids in the United States. So these new kids who are coming in from the border, because some of them don't have parents, or they're because the families are so poor, they're going the right to work in the United States, and that's illegal. Since 2018, the US Labor Department has seen a 70% increase in the number of children working for companies, small and big companies across the US. So the employers, the companies hiring them, don't seem to care that these are kids and they shouldn't be working these jobs. And these jobs are often unsafe. They're jobs in agriculture, meat packing, things that kids should not be exposed to. So that's it. That's all I can tell you. According to the New York Times investigation published this week, many of these children have, as I said, they don't have parents, and they just came in themselves, and they were released to relatives and other sponsors while their immigration courts are in the system. The system is so backed up, it's taking 3, 4, 5 years for these cases. So the kids are going to work. So the Biden administration says they're going to try to stop it. Americans sponsored more than 200,000 Ukrainian refugees. That's in the news. A year since Russia invaded Ukraine, Americans have applied to sponsor 216,000 Ukrainian refugees fleeing the conflict. After the Uniting for Ukraine program opened up, that allowed private sponsors and organizations, so people and organizations, to sponsor new Ukrainians, more than 216,000 Ukrainian refugees were sponsored. Now, immigrant meat plant workers won a $1.7 million settlement over the 2018 raid in the Tennessee meat processing plant. And roughly 100 workers, so approximately 100 workers, will receive 550,000 or 5,700 each. The federal government will also pay 6 named plaintiffs 475,000 each to resolve their federal tort action claims that allows compensation for excessive force and unlawful arrest by federal agents. So these immigrant workers were rounded up by federal agents who did a raid on this meat packing place in April 2018 after the IRS service found that the owner of the plant near Morristown, Tennessee, was not paying the right taxes by paying the workers in cash. Now, more news. USCIS is saying that students from countries that are going through a rough time, like Ukraine or Russia, like Afghanistan or any other countries that are going through what they're calling emergent circumstances. In other words, new emergency bad situations in the home countries, can now get a hardship-based work authorization for working off campus. You have to apply and you have to show that you are from a country and your family is going through a war or military situation or something like that, and you'll be able to get a work permit, even though normally F1 students don't get that type of work permit. Also this week, O1B clarification came out. That's a visa for talented people in the field of arts and theater and movies and motion pictures. And the USCIS basically clarified, they updated the manual for their officers to follow when making decisions for O1B visa cases, and listed very specific examples of the kind of evidence, the kind of paperwork that people have to provide to prove that they're eligible for the O1 talent visa. And today I'm planning to record a really good video. I have prepared already a script for myself for winning the O1A visa if you are a blogger. So stay tuned for our YouTube channel. In the next couple of weeks, you'll see a video. You'll see a video about the blogger O1A visa and how to win it. Because so many people are now blogging and actually getting commercial success out of it. So if you have commercial success, that's at least one of the proofs that you need for the O1 visa. We do a lot of them, so that's kind of cool, and we're really into it. Now, the final thing I wanted to mention is that USCIS released 2023 minimum sponsor income requirements, and they updated the affidavit of support income requirements for 2023. There's been an increase, right? So there's been an increase in the amounts. For two people, you now need to show that the sponsor makes $24,650. So if it's a man filing for a wife from Turkey, for example, the man who's the US citizen and filing the I-130 family petition in the 48 states has to show that he's making at least $24,650 adjusted gross income. That's a special line on your tax return. This is adjusted gross income. And if you can show that, you can sponsor your wife. If you cannot show that, you don't make that much, you will need a second sponsor. Now, if you live in Alaska, it's a lot more. It's $30,800. And if you live in Hawaii, it's $28,350. But for most people in the 48 states, the Washington, D.C., and U.S. territories, for two people, it's $24,650. For three people, so a man sponsoring a wife and a kid, so there's three people family, $31,075. And for four people, a man sponsoring a woman with two kids, a woman and two kids, and a man, that's four people family, a family of four, $37,500. A family of five is almost $44,000. So that's a big change, but every year this changes. So it's not anything new. Every year something changes. Mrs. Imran says, Happy International Women's Day. Happy March 8th. Okay, I'm just typing some things up and then I'm proceeding now. Okay. El Mescalito News says, Good morning, Bonita Senorita, which means good morning, pretty lady. The Baya Franchild is asking, Hi, good morning. Do we take questions? Absolutely. Post your questions below. I will get to them in a minute. Kelly A. Sam says, Good morning. Good morning. Post your questions. I'll be happy to answer. And let me double check with USCIS if nothing new came out this morning that I may not know about. Because, look, every morning something new comes out. And of course, they did release something new. Okay, so they're saying that they're issuing a policy guidance and a change to their manual. It's instructions to their own officers how to address when they provide mobile biometric services. And that is for people who are like disabled and not able to attend the service centers for biometrics. Basically, it doesn't affect most people, but this is going to be a little bit of a change for people who are disabled, and they get a USCIS to come to their house to do their fingerprints. What else did I want to mention? I talked about the students from emergent circumstances countries. In other words, if your country is going through a war or something terrible is happening, revolution, whatever, then you can now get a work permit for students, F1 students from those countries, and M1, M like Mary 1 student visa holders. Okay, also USCIS announced premium processing for this is a new thing, new online filing procedures for certain F1 students, only for OPT or STEM OPT extensions. So if you are working as a student and you're getting OPT, which is like your practical training period, when your F1 student visa ends, you still get a year of work as a practical thing for your program. You can now do premium processing, quick processing for an extra fee online if you file. And finally, my final news that I wanted to talk about today is that USCIS filled their H-2B cap. So the number of quota for the second half of the financial year 2023 is done, finished. So they're saying that USCIS received already enough employer petitions to meet the H-2B cap for the fiscal year 2023. And actually, they're saying that there's going to be a few more visas added, and they're almost done with H-2B visas for the year that ends in October 2023. And just to let you know that H-2B is for temporary non-agricultural workers. For example, I go to this Ukrainian Russian food store that has a few stores. It's like a chain of stores around the New York area, and I think most of their cashiers that they hire who are Ukrainian or Russian speaking are coming here with H-2B visas. They're non-agricultural, but they're temporary, so they get 1 or 2 year visas to come, and you need to show that you're an employer that needs these workers. Usually it's seasonal. So for example, amusement parks, like if you ever go to Six Flags or those big, or Dorney Park, those parks also hire J1 and H-2B workers. So I think that's all I want to see. Good morning, says all in. Good to see you. Good morning. Okay, so let me get right to your questions. I have some questions on Instagram already. Real Good Gal says, good morning. I filed VAWA and abeyance in December and still no receipt. Should my lawyer do something? So this is already over 3 months. I think that your lawyer should email to the hotline email that your lawyer should know to say that this is a little bit long of a delay. Now this happens, but this is already getting 3 months is already too long, in my opinion. So your lawyer should email the direct email for the VAWA unit to find out what's going on and include your alien number so they can track down if they received your package, and if so, you should get your receipt. Also, if you filed the I-485 with it, if you filed your green card application with it, then the check that your lawyer might have included, if it was cashed by USCIS, should have the receipt number stamped on the back of the check, the endorsement side. So see, maybe they can find it this way. All right, I have a question from El Mascalito News. Good morning, Bonita Senorita. My I-485 has been approved. And okay, and my advance parole, I'm thinking to fly for 2 weeks. Never lose hope. Oh, so he's been following me and waiting, asking me questions when it's going to get approved. And his green card was approved. Congratulations. Congratulations. Mrs. Imran says, how the work permits renewal is happening. I filed the renewal. I got a courtesy receipt notice. When can I expect this? Okay, so how it works. If you did biometrics before, and it looks like you did because you filed for a renewal, they will probably just reuse your biometrics, run them again, get the fresh information on you, and you'll just have to wait for the processing time. Now, let me check for you. I'm going to show you by sharing my screen. I'm going to show you how I check processing times. So you have a work permit. That means I have to choose from the case list, form I-765, application for employment authorization. The category you said is C08. So there you go. It's based on pending asylum application. C08. And then there's only two places it could be at. Potomac Service Center. And that's taking... They're saying that if you file for an initial employment authorization based on pending asylum, you may be eligible to get your work your work authorization process within 30 days through using the USCIS e-request self-service. Okay? And that's not true. It doesn't take 30 days. Let's see Texas. Oh, also they took it out from here. So you can't even see how long it takes. But in my experience, it could take a few months. So just be patient and wait. Renewals are taking longer because I guess they're not in such a rush. This is something new they have now. So I guess I should talk about that now too. This is a new process that if you filed for your first employment work authorization based on your asylum application that you have already in the works, you could be getting it within 30 days. And if it's already been 25 days, you can then make an inquiry through the online USCIS e-request self-service tool, and they promise to get it to you in 30 days. But for renewals, it's going to take a few months. I'm going to tell you that right now. All right, so let's move on. Okay. Kelly is asking, is there any news on work permits after getting the VAWA prima facie approval? So let me tell you how it works. When you file for VAWA, that is a request for a work permit in itself. So once your VAWA is approved, that's now taking, let me double check while I'm talking to you guys how long VAWA is taking, because everyone always wants to know, and it makes sense. I want to know too. They update this information all the time. So the VAWA petition is taking 32.5 months. You will get the work permit based on VAWA in 32 months from filing. But if you also filed a green card application with your VAWA, I-485, if you filed I-485, the work permit based on that from the date you filed and you got the receipt notice, one second. I'm just gonna tell you the exact numbers. I don't like to, play around with this. The work permit should take about 21 months or 10 months. Depends where you are. National Benefit Center, 10 months. California is 21 months. Nebraska is 15 months. Texas is going to take your work permit 15 months. And Vermont Service Center work permit based on the green card pending is 13 months. So you could be waiting for your work permit based on VAWA plus green card application between 10 months to 20 months. Okay? So we can't tell you exactly how long it's going to take, but approximately that's how long it's going to take. Ken OD is asking, good day. I passed my U.S. citizenship naturalization test with a name change. I have been waiting 2 months already. How long does it take the name change oath ceremony on the East Coast? On the East Coast, it depends, because what they do is It's not so much the name change that's holding it up. They fill up ceremonial rooms. And I think with the COVID rules, they don't invite as many people anymore at one time. So what they do is whoever takes the test and passes, they book one room for, let's say, 30 people. I don't know how many people it is. I'm just saying. Then they move on and they do it usually once a week. It's not every day. So I think you wait for the room to become available by the time they pass however many people. It might take another month or two. It's hard to say. I'm sorry. Hi, says Suleiman. Hello, hello. Okay. Lola Moamia says, hi, Marina. So basically, according to new updates, students under F visa can work 40 hours per week due to the event. Yes, as I mentioned, F1 students from Ukraine or Russia or any countries going through emergent circumstances can ask to get the off-campus work permit because they need money. Their country is going through so much time. And how long it takes, I don't know. Let me double check. So I-765. C3, by the way, the category is C3. 2 months. So it's not long. 2 months. You'll get your work permit. Yeah, so you checked correctly. Good job. So yeah, so that's that. All right. Let's move on. Alban Minga is asking, how about deported parents? You mean like filing a petition for deported parents? You can call us. First of all, my number is on the bottom of the screen. We can discuss your particular situation. Kelly, after you get the prima facie, you wait from the beginning of the case being filed to the end, about 32 months for approval. Sometimes they want additional paperwork from you. They might send you a request for evidence. That usually will happen about 30 months from filing. Ivan Petrovich says, hello, happy March 8th. Hello. Mrs. Emran says, thank you. Ken says, thank you for your answer. You're welcome. Ivan says, what changes after July 1 memo for TPS holders? I know I cannot adjust status through employment because I had previous overstay visa. I have 180 days bar, but some lawyers still saying that I can. Thank you. I don't know. It depends. I don't think you can, honestly, with a work visa. I know that some lawyers have some maybe ideas about it, but I don't think it's going to work even if you have TPS. TPS, I think, is okay for like a marriage case. You can adjust, but not for a work visa. I don't believe a work visa would work with TPS. Let's see. Do we have any other questions? I don't see any other questions today. Let me double check if I see any other news. And then I will wrap up. Oh, look at that. This is new. So immigration and citizenship laws are complicated and the delays are so bad that people are getting ready. The organization is called American Immigration Council. They filed a lawsuit against the Biden administration for the crazy delays, to fix the delays. And so the lawsuit, there's a lawsuit by Immigration Council, American Immigration Council. It's an organization that it's asking an order from a judge, and this was filed in Seattle, to tell U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services to hurry up and quickly make decisions on waiver applications. So this is for I-601 waivers for people who are in other countries. Their petition was approved. They just need the waiver for unlawful presence or minor crimes, forgiveness, basically. And those people sometimes are waiting over 3 years, and this lawsuit only addresses the waivers. So that's my last piece of the news. And there's another question from Instagram. Anthony Sennett says, how long does it take to process the I-360 VAWA? It takes 32.5 months, about 33 months to file and get approved for the I-360 VAWA. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Oh, here's another one. Alex is asking about VAWA also. How long after you file your VAWA case does it take to get the receipt number? Between 30 to like 90 days. If you don't have it yet, and it's been more than 90 days, have your lawyer email the special hotline email for the VAWA unit. They know that email. They should email and find out where is your VAWA receipt notice. I will see you guys next week. Please become followers. If you're not yet followers, press the little bell below to become our subscriber. Give us a like if you like this video. Share this video. It's going to be available both on Instagram and on YouTube with your friends and loved ones. And if you have questions, ask them in the comments even after the show, or you can ask questions under my other videos because we have a lot of materials here on these platforms. And I'll see you guys next week with my English language live. Okay, last question. I just don't want to leave you hanging. Moon UTV says, is being married for a short time, like 4 months, affect VAWA? I have won cases where you're only married for 4 months. The argument is, yes, I'm married only 4 months, but I got married for love and to create a family, right? I cannot put up with this abuse. If I continue to live with this abuse, my spouse will kill me or hurt me. I cannot do more than 4 months. I'm leaving and I'm filing for VAWA. We have won cases like that. By the way, my daughter went on a trip to Washington, D.C., and she brought me this really cool sweatshirt. So I wore it today for the show. Actually, I stole it from her. She didn't want to give it to me. I said, Mommy's going to take it for the show today because it's really cool. So you could see the seal. It's from Washington, D.C. She went on a trip with her college this weekend. And I'm probably going to take all 3 of my kids to Washington, D.C., sometime in May or maybe earlier to see the cherry blossoms. It's really pretty there for cherry blossoms. I hope you guys have a great week. See you next Wednesday.